Some love the competition. Others, the social aspect of the game. Some are training for that next big win. We're here in Kelowna, British Columbia at Elk Stadium to celebrate some of the most dedicated, disciplined, and energetic athletes across the country. Welcome to Spotlight Features Game On. In the spirit of respect and truth, we honor and acknowledge that we are recording on the unceded territory of the Silks people of the Okanagan Nation. Welcome. I'm Mark Nonis, and from 2000 to 2003, I was a player for the Kelowna Falcons. After retiring from the game of baseball, I thought it was really important to stay involved in the game that I loved. That's why I'm the GM of the Kelowna Falcons. Coming up, we'd like to introduce Brian Clarkson. After retiring in 2013, he struggled to find an activity that was both good in exercise and something that he really enjoyed. That's when he discovered disc golf.
It's put me in a position where just physically I've got energy. I retired in 2013 and I was aware immediately that my life was not as busy as what it was. I am not at all concerned about getting older, but I was concerned about the quality of life in getting older and wanting to make sure that I could maintain that as well as possible. And I was approached by a friend and introduced to disc golf. First, it didn't really seem to appeal to me. I didn't quite understand it. Coordination was a little bit of a factor, and then after going out a couple of times and persevering with it, getting some of the throws, all of a sudden it just seemed like the perfect fit. So I started going out daily, and I loved the exercise part of it because I'm not one to go for walks or runs. I tried that at one point. When I started playing, quite often I was the oldest person. Not quite often, I was always the oldest person. And I had people that I was playing with that were, my goodness, we got grandchildren that are that age. And then I started looking for other people in my age group. And I started putting together a small group of people. Anyways, we're known locally and very affectionately as the Chain Rattlers. We range in age from mid-60s up to early 80s. Nice. We are very non-competitive. We're there for exercise, fresh air, camaraderie. And if we happen to get a good score, that's wonderful, but we're not really concerned about the score. And consequently, we're out pretty much 365 days a year. We walk several kilometers a day, and it does not feel like we've walked several kilometers. By the time we're finished, as when we start, everyone has a smile on their face. And that's very important to us. And that's what brings us back day after day after day. If it wasn't for disc golf, I don't know what I would have done with all that extra time. That's a very important part of my life now.
In a sport where seat time is king, it's not easy being a motocross racer from Northwestern Ontario. Basically, to make it at the national level, it's a really big deal. Meet motocross racer Cameron Burney.
Something about the feeling on the bike, like when you're just flowing and everything's going right, it's kind of indescribable, and there's just nothing else that can replace that. I don't know what it was about the sport, but I was obsessed with it before I ever even had a dirt bike. Like, I remember getting home from school and there was one motocross show that I would put on every day and watch religiously. I had never even really rode a dirt bike up until that point, and then for my 7th birthday, my grandparents got me a KX65. One of my cousins ended up blowing up, so my dad got rid of it after that and said it was too unreliable. I begged him for another bike for a couple of years and then got on one, and it's been nonstop ever since. I got a late start to racing compared to pretty much everyone that I compete against. Grade 9, I did my first race, and then it was 5 or 6 years until I raced again, and then really started getting serious into it when we moved to Manitoba. To compete nationally is a really tall task. You have to ride so much to be good enough to compete at that level. My girlfriend probably isn't happy how much time I spend working on the bike, to ride the bike. Like, my summers are kind of consumed with everything dirt bikes. Like, it's a full-time job just to keep yourself riding all year. Most of the guys I'm competing against go south all winter and train 12 months out of the year. I ride 6 or 7 months out of the year. I also work full-time, so you just gotta kind of make the best of what you have. I'm fortunate enough to have friends with property and equipment to make tracks like this. Seat time is king. You do have like a sense of, yeah, prove the doubters wrong. Like, it's definitely not easy, but being on the gate at a national level, getting there by myself, fixing my own bike, I'm proud of that. Like, those are the 40 best guys in the country lining up for that race, and to make it there from Dryden, Ontario is a big deal as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what it is that draws us to continue it. The risk is there, we all know the risk is there, but for whatever reason, it's still worth it. It's more of an addiction. You can't really give it up once you start.
Kevin Marshall was invited to the grand opening of Axe and Grind by a friend to try axe throwing. After the first time he landed the axe on the target, he was hooked. 4 years later, he's competing all over, including the World Championships.
I walk myself up to the target. I plant my left leg in line for where I'm aiming. I'm staring at that the moment I step up on my line. I let my axe grip into my hand properly. I take a deep breath in, and I raise my axe to the side of my head. I exhale, and it's a nice smooth release, keeping the wrist and arm straight out, pointing to where I want to hit. I hadn't really heard of it before 2019. One of my best friends got a job at this local axe throwing place that was going to be opening soon. It just sounded like a really unique place to spend some time, and I walked in, I was grabbing these bigger fire axes and hurling them at the wall, and it was sticking, and it's just like, yeah, I hit the dot. You're super excited, and it's just a whole different feeling from most other sports I tried right off the bat.
This is my favorite axe.
I call it the Queen of Hearts. I've been throwing axes for now just under 4 years, competing for probably just under 3. I started off on just like local league level, did my first tournament where we had people coming out from Alberta, from the mainland, and I ended up placing 8th in that tournament overall, which was my first tournament ever. I was ecstatic with that performance, and that was the first step of actual competition I got into. And then a couple years later, I've worked my way up to competing at a, we call it about a semi-pro level. There it is, that's a good throw. I have traveled to tournaments in the States, across Canada, competed at the World Championships.
Take a breath, Kevin. Take a breath.
I lost both my first sets of matches, but the guy who beat me in my first game, he finished top 8 in the world. You know, I can't be too mad losing to the 8th best thrower in the world. It was just the experience to be at the World Championships for the first time is something I will never forget. It's normal to not hit it. It's okay, and it's just about the next throw. I have never had a specific coach that I've had one person teaching me how to throw. I pretty much just have to block out everything except for my throw. It's just me, myself, and I throwing at the same target, tweaking what works best for me. There's no standard as to what's the right way to do things in this sport. It's just me finding what works best for myself and improving on that. The weeks where you just don't feel like you're throwing very good, where you can't find your bullseye. So I just need to just take a step back. So, you know, just throw casually, just have some fun with it. Go back to the roots of just enjoying what I'm doing. See, after 2 throws of just resetting and changing the form, already closer to where I want to be. There, for me, is no ceiling to where I want to push myself in this sport. Right now, it's one of my biggest life priorities. I'm gunning for 2023 World Championships. I see these guys throw at top level tournaments and stuff like that. To be able to get up to that level is a huge goal of mine.
Scaling heights and arts, Kelowna paraclimbing power couple Seamus and Olivia aim to clinch the World Championships with a determined spirit, inspiring climbers everywhere.
To become world champion, that's really the ultimate goal.
Get the gold for Canada, baby!
Thanks. I'm a disabled rock climber. In the community, we call it adaptive climbing or paraclimbing. It's a congenital limb difference, so I was born like this. My sort of brand of limb difference is called ectrodactyly, which is just split hand or foot malformation. And I basically just have 2 non-bending fingers on the right side of my body. I can use the meaty part of my thumb that connects to my wrist to kind of hook onto edges like this. I would have to say the 2nd place at US Nationals really meant a lot, especially leading into the 2023 World Cup season. I'm gonna start climbing. I was afraid of heights, and that's still true to an extent, but I find that the joy of pushing past your physical barriers is enough to get over that fear. My wife Olivia certainly has been there by my side, and vice versa. She also competes, and so we kind of are a team going into it together. She's another adaptive climber who I met at the Adaptive Climbers Festival last October.
That's where we kind of connected and fell in love. I have hereditary spastic paraplegia. It's a degenerative neurological condition that I was born with. I really like doing this because for myself personally, it gives me a sense of freedom to be able to use my body to its full potential.
I now pronounce you husband and wife. May kiss the bride.
We just actually got married last week, and we're off to compete in the World Cups together.
I definitely think that Seamus is gonna be world champ someday, and I am so excited to be able to, you know, A, climb alongside him, but also support him in that endeavor.
World Cup training is really like a lifestyle switch. I'm training like 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, and everything else around that too, eating well, sleeping well.
Seamus is amazing in the sense of when he is climbing, you can just see his determination on the wall. The progression of how he has been from the last couple of years to now is really incredible to see.
So both being part of the disabled rock climbing community, we had something to bond over right away. It's a fairly small sort of niche community, so I feel pretty lucky to have found kind of my person within that. And we're both really passionate advocates for the sport, trying to get more people into it. And I think we bond over that a lot. We kind of have jokingly called ourselves the para-climbing power couple, and it's becoming more and more true.
I'm so proud of him, absolutely.
Oh, I'm absolutely proud of her. She's exceeded her own expectations at every turn.
Ninja's not just a sport, it's a mindset. What started as a fun after-school activity for Ariana Sinclair Shaw has now become a competitive sport. Challenged by the ever-changing obstacles and wanting to beat her personal record, she has a great mindset. But for her, it's not all about winning. It's about putting in the time and trying your best.
Perfect.
Hi, I'm Mariana. I'm 9 years old, and I'm a Rebel Gym student.
This fall, we traveled to BC for nationals, and Ariana placed 6th place in the girls 6 to 8 category against athletes across country.
I came here for the first time, and I had a lot of fun, so I kept signing in and signing in. Look at me now, I'm all grown up, and now I have like a really good relationship with Ninja.
Go, 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 go. Ariana's here 3 to 4 times a week, and she does soccer 3 times a week to help with her cardio. She's super passionate, she's super up to try the different things, and when we take them through the obstacle courses that we do in training, it's not uncommon for us to take them through again and be like, okay, I want you guys to think about this one. How can you do it differently? How can you go faster? How can you make it easier for yourself? So really trying to teach them that if you really try to think about it, think different ways, how to make it easier for you.
I practice over and over until I get it, and then when I get it, I'm going to keep doing it until I get it a lot more times.
There's a lot of stuff that you don't get the first try, so it really teaches them perseverance and persistence that they just have to keep working for it, and it's okay to fall. You just have to keep trying. It's getting up that matters.
Go, 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 go! Nice!
I can do a 6-foot lache, and I'm working on to do an 8-foot lache.
We work on our core strength a lot, and the reason we do that is so that she can build a bigger swing. We also work on grip strength so that she doesn't slip off the bar when she's getting a really big swing. She's able to hang on.
I get lots of swing, and then I just let go and swing my arms forward and catch the bar. Sometimes I fail, and I'm so proud that I tried it.
It's really cool to see the confidence level go up. So once you get to 4-foot lache, it's like, oh, super pumped for the 6-foot. And once you get the 6-foot lache, okay, how much more can we do?
Am I gonna fall on an obstacle? Am I gonna hurt myself? That's what makes me nervous at a competition. Like, I get nervous just in case I hurt myself. But I just get back up.
Since she placed 6th at nationals, she qualified for worlds. So I hope she really gets to see her hard work continue to pay off.
Just do it and get over your fear. It's not really about winning, just have fun and keep trying it.
It's up for the win, 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 win. We fight for the win, 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 win. Hey, look, we fight till we win, 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 win. Win, 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 win.
Meet Eric O'Flynn, a fearless young bull rider hailing from Gwinnell, BC. Bull riding runs in his family, but Eric's taken it on his own to become a professional bull rider. Every adrenaline-filled moment brings Eric closer to his goal, fueling his passion and hopefully teaching the next generation.
Bull riding's 90% mental and the rest is in your head, so it's 100% mental. So you really gotta calm yourself down. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of your body. You just slow your breathing down, take a minute, you block out the world. I don't really need to think about it when it's game day. Just go and have fun. Yep, hold it. Yep.
Breathe, Rick. Drive out of the shot here. All right, now, Eric, have some fun. All right.
I'm Eric Flynn, and I'm a bull rider. When I turned 11, I knew I wanted to try it at least. So I talked to my brother and he signed me up. I got on my first one when I was 12. Yeah, the rest is history. So I come from a big family. I got 7 brothers and 1 sister. But the only one that was super duper into it was my second oldest brother, Matt. My uncle was a bull rider. My brother, he was a bull rider. I got brought up with it right. It was perfect. With these bucking machines, our goal is not to buck off the rider. It's just to slow everything down. So obviously it's not going to be as fast as a bull, but it's just to slow everything down and get all your moves right. So the younger generation I'm super stoked for, and that's the whole reason why we do these schools. My brother Matt retired from riding bulls about 4 years ago, and he's been teaching for 7 or 8 years, and it's awesome. You get to work with totally anyone, any different type of people. Arm up. Some people come up from down in Vancouver or Alberta, or people are just coming around all over and teach them and help them and excite them. It's all fun and games, man. Go on, Clay. Have some fun with it. Be a dog. You're not gonna get it until you've been on 100 bulls. Once you get on like 100, up to 1,000, more than 1,000, then you start getting the hang of it. This will be my first year going pro, actually. Maybe one day I'll make it to the world final. That's my destination. But right now, I'm not trying to worry so much about that. You just got to take it one bull at a time, 1 year at a time. And once you do it once, you just can't stop doing it for some reason. It's the adrenalines and the endorphins you get, like, it really pumps you up.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this home run of a show. As you can see, sports has many healthy impacts on our lives, from staying physically fit to inspiring us to push past what we believe was our best. If you'd like to see more stories, follow us on Shaw Spotlight on social media or check out shawspotlight.ca. Thanks again for watching.
Something about the feeling on the bike, like when you're just flowing and everything's going right, it's kind of indescribable, and there's just nothing else that can replace that.
Throw casually, just have some fun with it. Go back to the roots of just enjoying what I'm doing.
Pushing past your physical barriers is enough to get over that fear.
It's really cool to see confidence level go up. So once you get to 4-foot lache, it's like, oh, super pumped for the 6-foot. And once you get the 6-foot lache, okay, how much more can we do?
All right, now ride.